Hey, this is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics, and in this video, we're gonna do things a little bit different. On January 14th of this year, I had the pleasure of being interviewed by John Holder of the Kentucky Notary Network for his podcast. The Kentucky Notary Network is a group of hand-selected professional mobile notaries and loan signing agents who cover their entire state. In his weekly podcast, John interviews mobile notaries and loan signing agent experts from across the nation, covering relevant topics for the mobile notary and loan signing agent industries. Guys, you are definitely going to want to follow his podcast so that you can gain more information and knowledge from the experts that he has on. You can listen to the podcast on the Kentucky Notary Network website, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and Stitcher, and you know I've got all of those links for you down in the description box. So for today's YouTube video, we're gonna listen to my interview with John. It was so much fun. And while we are listening to the podcast, I'm gonna be over live in the chat for a little Q&A, answering all of your questions. And guys, if you are watching this video after the live premiere, that's okay. You know I got you. Just go down into the comment section and leave your questions there. No matter what, guys, make sure that you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. This is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics, hoping that you enjoy the interview and hoping that you have a productive and profitable day.
Welcome to the Kentucky Notary Network Show. This is the podcast for and about successful mobile notaries and loan signing agents across the nation. Now podcasting from where the bluegrass kisses the Ohio, here's your host, John Holder.
All right, thanks for tuning in. This is John Holder with the Kentucky Notary Network Show. And for our third episode, I reached out to Kendra Lewis from San Antonio, Texas. She's a full-time signing agent, and she's killing it on social media. Her Facebook and Instagram page, her YouTube channel with Signing Agent Basics is where she's helping other mobile notaries and loan signing agents get started. And I really feel like we've caught a rising star here. Kendra just amazes me with what she's doing. She hasn't been doing it very long, but she's very polished with her videos and her online content. She just knocks it out of the park. So like I said, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this chat with Kendra Lewis. I'm very excited to have another guest from the great state of Texas on with me today. I think we might have to change our name to the Texas Notary Network Show, but there's a lot of great notaries in Texas, and we certainly do have one here for you today. She's doing some great work on social media. She has a really neat YouTube channel, a really awesome Instagram account. She's killing it on social media, and she's a full-time signing agent that is starting to train others and getting that set up too. Today, I'm talking to Kendra Lewis of SigningAgentBasics.com, and she is from San Antonio, Texas. Is that right, Kendra?
That's correct. Well, that's where I live currently, yes.
Okay, now you said originally you're from Florida. Where did you go to high school?
So I'm originally from Florida, but I actually grew up in Texas, in Killeen, Fort Hood, Texas. And that's where I went to high school. At the time that I was in Killeen, it was such a big town. There was a whopping 2 high schools there. And I went to the cool high school. It's called Ellison, C.E. Ellison High School. So that's where I went to high school at. And I have to say I was a bit of a band nerd in high school, but hey,
Nothing
I loved
wrong
it.
With that. Hey, we love band members. What instrument did you play?
Flute and piccolo. In my mind, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be in marching band, and this is still how my mind works today, if I'm going to be in marching band, I want to carry the lightest instrument on the field. So the flute I thought was the lightest. And then I messed around and found out about the piccolo, which is basically a small flute. So I switched over to piccolo.
Oh my, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I don't blame you. Who wants to carry a tuba around?
For real, too much work in Texas.
Heat?
It's 100 degrees. No way.
No, thank you. Okay, so now you did go back to Florida for college. Is that right? Where did you attend school?
That is correct. I went to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida, FAMU, the Rattlers. And part of the reason why I went is because they're actually very well known for their band. I was a band nerd. So the band was called it is still called the Marching 100, but plans change when you actually get there. So even though I went there for band, I actually never actually joined the band. Don't judge me.
I know exactly. I know. I don't judge you. I tried to play football at Kentucky Wesleyan College. Found out how slow I was once I got down there, and just kind of segued into something else. There's nothing wrong with that. We all kind of find our path and purpose in life. So, okay, so you graduate with bachelor's degree from Florida A&M, is that right?
Correct. Florida A&M University, I got a bachelor's in business with a minor in marketing.
Okay. And then what happened between Florida A&M and San Antonio, full-time signing agent? How'd that come about?
So after college, I moved back to Texas because that's where the majority of my friends, family, my mama lives here in Texas. I'm a mama's girl. So I had to come back to be close to mom. And it's actually funny. My original plan, I worked at a jewelry store in college, and my original plan was to be a jewelry buyer. But that didn't work out at the last minute. And all of a sudden, I needed a job at the last minute. And a friend of mine worked for a finance company at the time. And so that he can get his, employee referral $500, he referred me to work for this finance company. So that's how I got introduced into the finance business. And so I started off with the finance company for a major bank, and I was in the finance division for a few years. And we actually did home equity loans as a part of what the products that the finance company offered. But it was very interesting. Right. And I didn't realize how strange this was at the time because I had nothing to compare it to. But we did everything. We originated the loan. We sold the loan. We had to find the people to, do the loan.
Everything in-house.
Yeah. We basically underwrote our own thing. So basically, as the loan officer, I, said, this is what we're going to do. It did go to a quick underwriting department, but then, it came back to us. And then we actually closed the loans ourselves in the office. Wow. So again, I had no clue how weird that kind of was because I didn't know any better. But that was, I was selling home equity loans and closing home equity loans. So at that point, I'm already getting familiar with mortgage terms, mortgage documents, the paperwork at the end of the closing. And then after a few years of being in the finance division, I switched over to the mortgage division, and I was a loan officer with the mortgage division for a couple of years. And then I decided I was kind of tired of selling because being a loan officer is basically a sales job. So I kind of got tired of selling. And so I switched over to processing, getting all the paperwork stuff together to, actually get the loan closed. So I was a processor for a while, and then I became a processing manager. And then I was also a trainer. So I'm getting, tons of just mortgage paperwork background. I have nightmares about mortgage stuff. It's all I've seen my entire adult life. So that's where I got my know-how and information that I possess about mortgage loans and mortgage documents.
Yeah, you have experience, as they say.
Exactly. Yeah, just a little bit. A little bit.
Now, Kendra, I think we connected through social media, and I'm a lot older than you. I'll just say that. So it just fascinates me to use social media as a tool to reach out and connect with people, halfway around the world. I think we take it for granted that it's part of our life every day, but, it's so neat that here we are. I'm in such a little, very small town in Kentucky, and you're in a big city in Texas. But what I noticed was your style, the way you carried yourself on social media, even the colors that you use, your brand looks great. I'll just say it that way.
Thank you.
So you're starting out, I think you told me you got your start on YouTube. Is that where you kind of started with your social media? Or?
Correct. So I've been a signing agent for now about 13 years. I've just been quietly doing my little signing agent thing in my own little world. It's really easy for us to be our own little, individuals. And I have in the past individually mentored different people to become signing agents. And I've actually just always kind of been a leader / teacher. So I really do love teaching people and helping them to learn the information that I already have. So I had the privilege privilege of mentoring probably about 10 different people over the years.
Neat.
To help them become signing agents. And it's really been awesome to watch them kind of bloom and grow. I actually posted a testimonial on my Instagram today. One of the ladies that I mentored, her name is Yolanda, and I mentored her about 2 years ago. And we got together, for about, once or twice a week for about a month. And she just had that, I'm going to learn this attitude, which I love. I love people who will just soak it up like a sponge. And Yolanda has just taken the ball and ran with it. She's bilingual, which here in San Antonio also gives you a leg up. I'm sure in most cities, if you can speak both Spanish and English, you are in super high demand. But, she really had never worked with a signing company before. I taught her from the jump how to get direct business. And I told her, don't you accept any assignments under $150. And I guess, because she didn't know any better, the minimum she gets is $150. And I said that kind of thinking she's going to kind of, go with it, but she's going to back down. No. So I think I even posted in the testimonial or my comment about the testimonial, I can't afford Yolanda. I trained most of these people so that I can subcontract to them. When I'm busy and I can't do signings. So I train people to subcontract to. And then I know that they know how to do things the way I like. I can't afford Yolanda. Yolanda, out of the goodness of her heart, does signings for me as just a thank you for me mentoring her. So I've mentored people in the past, but I never really kind of thought about it as something to do for a larger number of people. And for many years, I was very, very involved with a church that I used to go to. But a couple of years ago, I kind of backed off. And now I was like, I have all this extra time on my hands. What am I going to do? And so people...
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem to have. And so people are constantly asking me to mentor them. But again, it's a huge time expenditure for one person. I'm like, I can't do this. It's a lot more efficient for me to do this for a group of people. So in November of last year, I talked to was chit-chatting with a friend, and I said, this is what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do some YouTube videos and put some information out there and see, how people receive it. But I had never done a YouTube video before. You may be a little bit older than me, but I'm no spring chicken, as they say. Okay. So, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a YouTube video, but I have no clue how to do a YouTube video. But
and isn't that the most important thing, though, Kendra, is putting yourself out there, is hitting publish, hitting record,
just doing
what we're doing right now. I mean, the podcast had to start somewhere. So that's where you were kind of led to as YouTube. And you use that to kind of intake and train and kind of grow your brand. Is that right?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing for me, and one of the things that I truly believe, is that you can't go wrong doing good things for others. You may not get super immediate, monetary return, but you just can't go wrong doing good things for others. And our industry is still one where there's more information available now, but if people want to start, it's still kind of difficult to put the information together to really feel comfortable in what you're doing and get started. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put these videos out with information, the basics that I think will help people who either are thinking about becoming a signing agent or are new signing agents. I'm just going to put the basics out there and just to help them get a good foundation, because all that will do is make signing agents and our industry overall better when more people have a better foundation.
And then what happened? What feedback did you receive? How was that received when you started posting your videos?
The feedback has been amazing. So again, in my mind, I'm thinking, nobody's really going to like it. I don't think I'm telling people anything earth shattering, but everybody's like, oh my gosh, I've never heard this before. I've never heard it put this way before. Thank you for putting it all together. And, it just makes you realize information that you take for granted as common knowledge isn't always common knowledge. So the feedback has been amazing. My first video, I think I posted on November 7th, and I started brand new channel, literally no followers. And so a little over 2 months, I'm looking now, 754 subscribers on YouTube, which is insane. It's crazy.
And that's awesome. Yeah, that's neat. And so now you're able to do that many to one. You don't have to do the one to one, and that allows you to teach the masses a little bit.
Exactly.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of your videos. I'll cue them up on the road. I'll pull over when I get my playlist set, of course.
Right.
But, nothing going on. I don't need to visual on a lot of the things. It's just listening.
Right.
And you just have a way with your presentation, and your appearance is great. And I think, like you say, just putting yourself out there, that first step is, I think they call it punching fear in the face. And that's the key component to just getting started.
Yep.
And now a word from our sponsors.
The Kentucky Notary Network show is sponsored by, you guessed it, the Kentucky Notary Network. We formed a group of competent, reliable, and courteous mobile notaries and loan signing agents, and we have all 120 counties in Kentucky covered. Let's say you work for a title company, or maybe you're a loan officer, mortgage broker, realtor, or an attorney, but you need a signing, you need a transaction closed in Kentucky. It could be for a HELOC, a refinance, purchase, or a commercial transaction. But we've made it super convenient to schedule that closing. All you have to do is call 1-833-GOT-NOTARY. That's 833-468-6682. You'll be greeted by our professional phone service and prompted to either enter a member's extension or choose from one of the 4 regions of Kentucky. You can press 1 for Western Kentucky, 2 for Central Kentucky, 3 for the Bluegrass region, and 4 for Eastern Kentucky. One of our members will answer your call and rest easy knowing that the rest of it's taken care of. It's more than just a signature to us. We take pride in our appearance, and we'll represent your company and give a first-rate impression doing so. So call the Kentucky Notary Network today at 1-833-GOT-NOTARY. That's 833-468-6682 to schedule your closing. You'll be glad you did. Thanks. So now another channel that I see you succeeding on and also has a neat little notary community that I'm finding out about is Instagram. What are you doing on Instagram and what do you hope to accomplish on there? I see what you're doing and I want to learn, what do you use stories for? What's the best way to create a story? And what do you use Instagram for? Let's hear it.
So again, I want to say I did not even start using Instagram until November when I kind of started my Instagram, my Facebook. I was on Facebook before, but Instagram and YouTube, I'd never been on before. And again, my biggest thing is I want to give people, other signing agents, people who want to be signing agents, something of value. Now, in my YouTube videos, and I think one of the last ones, I injected a little humor. I love to laugh, and I'm so super serious in my videos that it's like, okay, it doesn't feel like me. But on Instagram, for me, I feel like I get to be funny. I get to tell the little jokes that I didn't really have anybody else to tell. So, you see me, I'll post a couple of really funny memes a week just about different situations that we run into as signing agents, because you got to laugh at some of them, some of the like I said, I'm a germaphobe now. I'm like, don't cough in your hand and extend it to me to shake. I can't take it. But, but I'm not the only one. We all kind of get that. And so, I'm trying to add value to other signing agents' lives through humor, mostly on Instagram. And Instagram is mostly visual. Obviously, you can add words, but the whole point of Instagram is pictures. And so the stories are pictures that are only available for a short amount of time. I honestly don't understand why it's a thing, but the young people like it. It's a thing. It's a thing. And it's interesting to see people's stories. And so basically with the stories, again, you put some kind of cool visual up. And I personally use stories to connect to, they call it IGTV, which is basically videos on Instagram. So I'll have a story which will catch people's eye. Hey, swipe up. If you think this story is cool, swipe up and it'll take you to my IGTV and you'll see more about whatever this thing is. So then if they're interested, they swipe up, they go to my IGTV, and then through IGTV, there's ways to link to things outside of Instagram. So again, if you're enjoying this IGTV and you want to see the YouTube video that I have about it, click up here to watch that. So, it's a cool way to kind of take people step by step if they're interested without boring the people who aren't interested.
Yeah. And it helps you stand out, I think, because stories are up there at the top.
Yep.
And I think you also get maybe a notification that, such and such posted a new story. And so those are always neat to check out. And
absolutely.
And also, I think you'll notice that or agree that the notary community, I don't know, people in California like your stuff and Nevada, and it's just neat to see it go all across the country. And,
exactly.
And we're all kind of on the same plane and connecting on the same wavelength there.
Exactly.
So
it's awesome.
I wouldn't even have an Instagram account. I got to tell you this real quick. Brian Schooley has a podcast, That Loan Signing Dude. And, I created an account. He says, well, get a hold of me on Instagram. I was like, I don't even have an account. I was like, well, I'll create one. And he's going to come on later. He's like, yeah, I'll be on your podcast. You can be on mine.
Yeah.
So that's how we connected. And that's what it's all about is, hooking up with people and putting yourself out there, networking a little bit. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned your mentoring and your training, where your YouTube and Instagram, your funnel, kind of where it's going to end. I noticed that it looks like you've reserved signingagentbasics.com.
Correct.
So we've got a website coming.
Yes.
And what's going to go on there?
So the website is going to be a portal, obviously, to all of my socials and YouTube. And then I'm also going to use that as a way to disperse course information, mentoring information to people who are interested, even though, my mentoring is going to take place by webinar and I've got a Facebook group. So, nowadays we used to just have a website, but there's so many ways to get the information out there. But the website is kind of going to be like the central hub. Like, go to this website and you'll have links to whatever it is that you're interested in. My YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Facebook group, my mentoring, everything. It'll be the central hub. Everything will be right there with a click. So instead of having, to remember all of my individual socials, which they're all signing agent basics, but instead of having to remember all of that, go to the website and all of the info will be there and you just click through from there to where you want to go.
Do you have a timeline set up or a deadline, or let me just go ahead and put you on the spot here?
Just put me on the spot. So I don't have a deadline at the moment. As soon as it won't be long. It won't be. And the honestly, the biggest thing is I had initially registered the website name through GoDaddy, but I switched hosting.
Okay.
So I basically had to wait a certain time frame before it could clear out from GoDaddy. So it actually just happened. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, I'll at least have a basic website up there, at least the first page to where people can start clicking on to the other things I have. And then obviously as time goes on, I'll add on to it. Because as of right now, this is a one-woman show. I'm the YouTube producer, director, filmer, web designer, social media manager, all of that. So
yeah. My dad used to call that chief cook and bottle washer.
I do it all.
That's right. Okay. Now, you mentioned having webinar. What are you going to use? Is that going to be hosted on the website? Are you using a different software or Zoom or what's going on there?
So right now I am using Webinar Jam. I actually did a free webinar and I used Webinar Jam for that, and it worked out really well and I liked it. So I'm probably going to stick with it at least for the, first year. Sometimes you have to try something for a while to figure out what you like and what you don't like, So I'm going to at least stick with Webinar Jam for a year and, decide from there if I want to change. But it worked out. It worked out perfectly. Everybody was able to easily register. Everybody was able to get into the room easily. The replay was easily available. So I didn't have any problems.
Good. Like certain people do having podcasts recorded.
We all have technical difficulties. I don't know if you remember my YouTube live.
Yes, I do. Hey, that's all right. We were patient and everything came off all right eventually. So
there you go.
All right. Now we're just about done. I think we've covered some neat topics here and I'm really glad you came on, Kendra. I'm glad we've been able to hook up and talk notary shop a little bit. one thing I'm asking all my guests to do is kind of give like a notary ninja tip to recommend an app or a software or some kind of resource that's, maybe it's well known, maybe it isn't. What do you have for our audience as a notary ninja tip?
So probably one of the favorite apps on my phone as a signing agent is Gas Buddy. And if you guys are not using Gas Buddy or another gas saving app, shame on you. Because I don't know about y'all, I may be on the other side of town and I need gas, and nothing irritates me more than getting gas and then driving a block or two down the street and seeing the gas 5 or 10 cents cheaper. I almost want to take the gas back out of my tank, get my refund, and go to the lower station. So obviously with Gas Buddy, you tell it where you're at, or it uses GPS and it tells you what the gas prices are around you so that you can get the best gas price. Because y'all know we go through a lot of gas as signing agents. I should get stock in oil or something because we go through so much gas.
I hear you. And they gamify it where you get to report the prices back, and I'm going to win that $100 one of these days. One of these days, it's going to happen.
But if I don't, I've still won. I've saved money, so I'm still okay with it. Yeah,
they know I've submitted enough entries, that's for sure. But I agree, that's a great little app, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So thanks for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Kendra, we've got your YouTube, Instagram, the website's coming, but let's if somebody wants to reach out and contact you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
So if they want to get a hold of me directly, you can send me an email at signingagentbasics@gmail.com. And like I said, I am Signing Agent Basics on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you put Signing Agent Basics in any of those socials, I'll pop up. I'm a gray-haired lady. There's usually some pink behind me because I like pink and gray. So when you see gray hair and pink, boom, that's me.
That's awesome. All right, Kendra, thank you. Like I say, I'm new to this. Thank you for putting up with my rank amateur process here.
No, this has been amazing.
It's much appreciated. And we're going to put the links to your stuff in the show notes and spread the word about you down there. And it's not just Texas. You can do this. You're not limiting I'd say you have a lot of Texas clients, but you can train anybody pretty much across the nation.
Correct. Okay. Absolutely.
All right. I'd like to thank Kendra Lewis for coming on. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I just think she's going places. She is just such a breath of fresh air, and Signing Agent Basics, keep an eye on that YouTube channel and Instagram. Find her on Instagram and Facebook, and her website's coming very soon. So thank you all for tuning in. All episodes are going to be hosted at KentuckyNotary.libsyn.com. We'd appreciate it if you'd leave us a review, subscribe. You can do that on iTunes. You can do that at KentuckyNotary.net /podcast. And like I said, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.